Our final speaker for today is Kenon Owens, Senior Program Manager, Windows Server System Center, Customer Architecture and Technology for Asia Pacific from Microsoft, who will speak on Intro to Windows Azure Pack and how to skin it. Kenon has led teams for the building and delivery of main stage keynotes for numerous industry events such as MMS and TechEd. He has worked in the computer industry for over 19 years as a management, virtualization, and email specialist. Please welcome Kenon Owens.
Thank you everyone, and thank you for making it to the last session of the day. I really appreciate your time, and hopefully this session will give you a good idea of what the Windows Azure Pack can do. And then the fact is that a lot of our customers want to be able to customize it for their environment, and so maybe I can tell you a little bit about how to do that. With that being said, when Nigel talked during his session this morning, he said something to the effect of who's a service provider, and then who's an enterprise, and all you enterprise people are service providers. Well, the reason he said that is because a lot of organizations are really trying to lower the cost of managing these environments, lessen the amount of time it takes to deploy servers and services to their customers. And because of that, they want an easy way for their end users, their customers, whether it be a separate company or it's a company with a group within your own organization, to be able to easily and quickly deploy the services that they need in a controlled environment that you guys own. So we're going to talk about Windows Azure Pack and how it, through its work with things like System Center, VMM, Ops Manager, those things, and the consistency that we want to provide with Windows Azure and how it all fits together. And from there, what we'll do is I'll show you a little bit of it under the covers and how to skin it and those types of things. So if you want to go to the next slide while we're waiting. So one of the things that I hope you got this morning during the keynote with Nigel and Nicholas was the fact that Windows Azure has a lot of cool things that our customers are asking for and they want, but they want to do it on premises. And what we don't want to do is have two totally different environments that a customer trying to deploy a virtual machine or a website on Windows Azure and then wants to do it locally has to learn a brand new tool. Instead, what we'd rather they do is they take the knowledge that they have, whether it's Windows Azure or Windows Azure Pack, and then bring it to the other one. The other thing is that if you look at the things that we've created within Windows Azure, things like Azure Websites, the infrastructure as a service VMs, the service bus, those things, organizations want to bring them on premises. So what we want to do is create this consistent experience across the two clouds, meaning that if I create websites on premises, I can just cut and paste that stuff and put it on Windows Azure and be able to use it up there. Or if I create a VM up on Windows Azure, I can use the same tips and techniques to create that same virtual machine or a similar one down on my premises. And as we add new features to Windows Azure, you'll see those features going in to Windows Azure Pack. So this consistent experience, if you look at Windows Azure side, it basically has the underlying Azure platform with all these different services on top of it. Services like worker role, the web role. It has the VM role, it has SQL, it has a service bus, all these different things. We've been able to create that on premise using Windows Azure Pack. So Windows Azure Pack, instead of being based on the Windows Azure underlying infrastructure, is based on Windows Server 2012 R2, it's based on System Center 2012 R2, and the Service Provider Foundation. Those things allow you to run this environment and put the same consistent type of services. For an organization to do things on Windows Azure, they can create custom PowerShell scripts, they can create this communication between their portal and Windows Azure to deploy virtual machines, create new websites, those types of things. We have the same service management API for the on-premises piece, for Windows Azure Pack. With Windows Azure, I have the nice portal that Windows Azure